Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of the Tanacast. So today we're gonna do something like really cool. We're gonna try to build the agent from the scratch, like without any base, just from the clean slate. We will try to build agent in Tana that is help us, or specifically help me, to learn Portuguese. And this is going to be obviously like the expert and tutor, and I'll be the student. And we're going to see like how this agent can be beneficial in language learning, but not just that. Essentially, the approach will show you it's super scalable. You can use this for many different types of agents. And the framework we want to introduce is pretty universal.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So we hope you get a lot from this, not on the language learning side, but on the AI agent side, and how to structure system prompts, how to improve system prompts, and even how to integrate other tools into your workflows in Tana. So we hope you enjoy this session.
Let's do it. So this is the framework. This is the framework that is pretty universal to build the agents in Tana. And we're going to start with just a simple prompt. And then we add the specific knowledge to it. And then we add the means to communicate with different parts of Tana. Then we add the different dynamic memory structures and also the opportunity for agents to learn on the go. As I learn, as a student, the agent is going to learn too. And then we add something really cool, which is the voice interaction with agents. Essentially, we will be able to dictate something, and agent will help us to learn more contextually. So for example, I'm in a restaurant and I forgot how to say, hey, bring me the check, bring me the receipt, bring me the menu. And the agent will remember this. And then later on when I interact, it will remind me that, hey, Andrew, you forgot this stuff. And this is really important. And the last part, we're going to connect it to Lindy, and we're going to see how we can use the sort of external agent to be able to actually provide us very specific cues of language learning in a context. So we got a lot to cover, and let's start. So for this, I will create the new build node. And first of all, I will create the agent. How do we call it? Portuguese. Okay. So this is going to be our agent. Let's call it actually tutor. By the way, I prefer to use capital for the agents and for the comments, just to differentiate between my regular nodes in Tana. So we go Portuguese tutor. We will convert it to agent right away. So now we got this structure for agent that we can build. And we will have the system prompt, and we will have the chat greeting and all other parameters. We can select the model too. So yeah, let's do it. So essentially, we can do something really simple. You are language learning tutor. Your goal is to help me to learn Portuguese from zero. That's it. So this is kind of the simplest prompt. And here we can set up the greeting. Hey, your tutor. Let's learn some Portuguese. Like this. So this is kind of the simplest agents possible, but it's already pretty useful, right? So we can just already start interacting with it. We should probably set up the model. Which model should we use? We got a lot of models now.
Yeah, I would say either O3 Mini or Claude, but I mean, Gemini might also work. Which one do you think?
Well, I mean, it's just like O3, it's a reasoning model, so it's probably going to take us, since I'm like a crazy beginner, we don't need such a brain power.
Yeah, that's true.
maybe later. Claude is the new version, is way better. So I think we can, by the way, stick with the 4.0 because it got updated recently. So I think it can be fun now. But let's see. And we should set up the temperature for something like 0.6, 0.5. This is going to be like, I think 0.5 is better. Just to kind of
let's give it some flair.
Yeah, less predictable. Because we definitely don't need like a lot of predictability here. It's more or less creative task.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go here later on in the menu, and now we pretty much have the agent set it up. So we can even create like a simple command, right? Learn this.
So what are we picturing? Are we going to call this command, call this agent using the command from a super tag from our day node? So what are we imagining?
Yeah, I think from the day node is a good idea. Now let's just set it up. So essentially, it's going to be the command ask AI. Oh, sorry, AI chat.
Yeah, start AI
Start
chat.
AI chat. And then we're gonna take this, and then we're gonna take our agent here. So we're gonna use the parameter agent. This is gonna be our tutor. We're gonna have initial prompt, which we don't have because it's gonna be the generic session. And what I actually like to do is just like create this my learning chats. So the node where I actually will store these chats, because later on I might want to go back to them. And it just like, since it's automatic, it's good to keep them in one place. This is what I prefer to do. So
Yeah,
I will do
that's a good idea.
Target node. And I will just put it here. That's it. Now we set it up like the most basic agents ever. So we can attach it to super tag, or we can just go, like this. And hey, our agents is live. So I can give me 5 most basic words. See, I'm not using language because obviously it knows which language I'm using. So, okay. So Fizz, what do you think? Is it legit?
Yeah, those are indeed very basic words and very popular ones. So,
okay, yeah.
Good.
We learned something already. I learned something
good
today. Yeah, I mean, hola, por favor, obrigado. Yeah, it's good. I'm already learning. But so the most important part here was I didn't specify the language, right? Because the agent already knows which language I'm learning. So this is the from this simplest version, it's already providing us with some interesting kind of capabilities.
A good thing to keep in mind here is get this example that we're using for language learning, where we didn't need to mention the language we're using to the agent. It already knows. And imagine this on other circumstances where you can provide several different pieces of context where the agent already knows what you're doing, and all you need to do is to call him and provide a basic initial conversation prompt, and you will already have so much context inside when the agent answers you back, right?
Yeah, good point. So now how about, we're still on version 1. So we got very basic system prompt. So how about we tweak it a little bit? So for that, we're gonna take something like, let's take like a real powerhouse. Let's take the GPT Pro version. It's just like, let's go big on this.
That's the one that's $200 a month, right?
Yeah. But
that's
it comes with a lot of cool stuff too, like the operator, and just like
let's use it, right?
Yeah, of course. It's just like all of this brain power, we should use it. So let's open the.
So right now we're going to update our system prompt, correct?
Yeah, with the power of really smart models. So we're gonna say I'm building an agent that should help me to learn. I mean, we can even go like more generic, because I think the system prompt is going to be applicable to most languages, right? So to learn new language.
I mean, but since we're doing this for Portuguese, I think we could use specifically Portuguese, because since this is 1.0 Pro, it's going to go with the reasoning part. So there are nuances to the Portuguese language that are definitely different than other languages. So I think it's worth assigning
Yeah.
this specific instruction, I think it will give us a better result for this.
Yeah, good point. But I think, yeah, it's
not gonna make a big difference. It's certainly similar to other languages, but since we're doing this video for Portuguese, might as well go all in, right?
Yeah, good point. So create a good system prompt for this agent. And by the way, I don't have to specify that I'm doing this in Tana. It doesn't matter. It's just like we need a system prompt. So we're gonna see like how it's gonna use.
Again, worth noting that we didn't send over the original prompt we have because it's so simple, right? We don't need to use that as a basis to improve upon. We can just ask for a new clean slate with a powerful like prompt that's written specifically for this, right? So that's also good to mention, right?
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Okay. You're a dedicated patient and methodical Portuguese language tutor. Your primary objective is to teach Portuguese from scratch to a user who is absolute beginner. You should. Okay, there are a lot of different things like instruction style and tone, language usage, communicate primarily in Portuguese, right? Which I think it's definitely going to be bad for me. So I would prefer English because at the moment I understand very little. Teaching strategy. So yeah, it actually provides a lot of interesting ideas for us, right? So we're not going to implement all of them, but what I'm going to do is just like I will take stuff that resonate with me, like personally, because it's a bond for me, right? So I will probably just take things that I like, and I essentially curate this prompt just to put it into Tana. By the way, if you want to put it in your Tana, you can like that. You can just ask it to convert to Tana paste. But since we want to curate it, what I will do.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that Andrew is the student here. So Andrew is the one who is going to choose how the agent behaves in the sense of what are the characteristics the prompt has, and the same goes for anyone building an agent, right? It's the person who's going to use the agent has the responsibility to choose how the agent is going to behave, right? Because that's the whole whole purpose of an agent, right? To help us users.
Yeah. And also keep in mind that since we're using basically not a reasoning model, we're going to use for all models, so which is pretty basic. But if we want to use the reasoning model, we're probably not going to need a lot of this because it's going to figure it out on its own, right? So it's just those kind of more deliberate, kind of thorough prompt engineering, it's mostly is kind of getting obsolete. But since we will try to use these kind of more basic model, because again, it's the stuff that we are doing is very basic, right? So we're going to be okay with that. But yeah, I'm just I really like the instruction style, so I will definitely use that. We're probably going to speed this up, this video, just to this is essentially me copying stuff alike from GPT to Tana. So yeah. Teaching strategy. I like this one actually. So, and the error correction here, I will take this one too. It always asks be gentle, be nice. I think I can handle some brutal,
honest brutal feedback.
Yeah. But I will, I don't care much about the style. I actually care more about kind of approach. So this is why I'm copying stuff. Yeah, I think it's for me, this is definitely important because obviously one day why I'm doing this, I want to visit FIS, right? In Brazil. So
I'm waiting for you already.
So I want to be able to actually understand cultural insights, right? And all of this stuff. By the way, on this note, as you view in this second Tanacast, you probably noticed that Aaron is not with us. So Aaron is actually on vacation in Egypt, and we will send him a nice.
He has
hello.
nothing against Portuguese. Aaron likes Portuguese. It's not about the language. He's traveling. He's safe and enjoying life. So, Aaron, enjoy, my friend.
Yeah, Aaron, huge shout out to you, and have a wonderful vacation. And he's joining us next time. Okay, yes. I think I'm pretty satisfied with this one. So we already have this pretty nice. I see you also. Yeah, you also updated.
I added some little Portuguese to the chat greeting. Getting used to it.
By the way, this is just like very important part that you can in Tana you can collaboratively work on the agent, right? So you just like you can together write prompts, and it's like the whole environment is ready for this.
Yes. So if you look at the screen, you might see some new information appear, and that's me typing.
Okay, so essentially the first version of the agent is ready, right? We did that, and we use O1.
Should we use it a simple new request for our updated system prompt? How about that?
Yeah, let's do that. So essentially, again, if you just want to run this command, you don't have to create any super tag. You can just hit Command K or Control key in Windows, and you will have learn Portuguese. Okay, first of all, we got the new greeting, and now I will say, let's test the same prompt. Give me 5 most basic words. Okay.
Oh, wow. I already see a good difference in how the answer is being formatted, and it's the pronunciation. I don't think that was as clear on the last answer.
Yeah, exactly. So it added some additional things, right? It also provided me this, these words are great for basic interaction. Keep practicing. So it kind of encouraging me. So it kind of gets more of the role. So, and if I say like, if I want to
I'm finding these pronunciations so good, like, because it's splitting up each syllable, right? And it's clearly outlining which one is the strong syllable. So in obrigado, it's like a capital GAH to show that this is the strongest syllable in this sentence. And in Portuguese, this is super relevant. Like the strongest syllable is something we, it kind of makes a big difference in how we speak, right?
Yeah, it's a very emotional language. So of course, it's just like you need to sort of put the emphasis. So how do I say bye, like goodbye?
It's ciao, similar to Italian, but you type it on a different way. You might as well find out in this next answer.
So if I want to say just bye, I can say.
But that's pronounced. You're typing in bay, not by, though. So that would give us another word.
If I want to say something like good.
YE.
No, I mean I want to say something like more complex. For example, how to say good luck.
Okay.
Just I want to make mistake,
Yeah. So do you want me to say, or do you want the AI agent?
No, I want you to say this, and I will make the mistake.
Good luck. It's boa sorte.
I will make a mistake, and let's see. Almost there. The correct way would be boa sorte. Boa means good. Yeah, so you see, it provides me some explanation. So yeah, it's pretty good already. Okay.
Yeah, nice. Looking good.
Okay. So now we can continue with the second version, which is adding the specific knowledge. So obviously we want to, like the idea of Tana, you put all of your knowledge in Tana, right? So imagine that you study how to learn languages for a long time or for some time, and you already have your best practices outlined, right? You already have a lot of things in Tana. And the powerful thing, you can actually take those and put them into the agent, so agent will know those things, right? So this is what we're going to do. But since we don't
and
we want to
I
do it.
think it's worth noting here that your knowledge is, yes, knowledge that you've acquired over time, but also knowledge that you might find and read in a book or anything that you have acquired from someone else, right? That's already your knowledge, and you can easily put that into Tana real fast. So don't be stuck in like, this needs to be my authorial knowledge, right? It can be any knowledge you have access to. You can use Tana as a workspace to bring that knowledge over, even if you've acquired it like minutes ago, right? That's what we're going to do in a second, right, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, it's so powerful, right? It's just like you have some stuff that, like, from your podcast, from new ideas, then you might want to do like a quick deep research and find a new things and integrate them. And from the get-go, you will teach the agents how to use them, right? So it's absolutely mind-blowing.
It is.
So
it is.
we're gonna cheat a little bit. So for this, we're gonna use Notebook LM. And just because we want to share with you like how many amazing AI tools are out there and how you can actually use them with Tana together. Because again, I know some people tend to be like, oh, I will use just only one tool. And I don't think it's a good approach, because essentially every tool would have like a really strong sort of capabilities and the power of actually form your toolkit, right? And understand, like, obviously when you want to fix something, you don't have just a driver or just a range. You have all of them, right? And exactly the same thing. Like the tool is good for something, maybe for many things. Maybe it's a multi-tool, but it's not. It can't be good for everything. So this is why we're going to use a lot of stuff. So
yeah, and a good analogy here is, think of a team. It could be like a sports team. It could be a company that has a team. You won't have one type of person in that team, right? You will have the coach, you will have like the physical therapist, you will have the athletes on several different positions. So together you can build a super team that's going to actually be much more powerful than if you're only specialized in one tool. So think of this analogy to kind of use several different tools, each one playing to its strengths, and then using Tana as this central, let's say it's like the GM, it's the general manager that brings everyone together and has all the knowledge in one place. So it's leveraging other tools to make Tana actually even better, right?
yeah, I actually, in terms of agents, I like your analogy so much more, because you really, rather than collecting the toolkit, you actually collecting the researcher, the analyst, the kind of the librarian, right? So it's definitely like, I think with the all new developments, it's definitely like more kind of, it's just better mental model. So let's put this Notebook LM to use. And Notebook LM is the tool by Google, which is absolutely brilliant in terms of extracting knowledge from different sources, right? So here I would have, so I created a new notebook, and I will just, I find a few videos on YouTube, like for example, by Tim Ferriss, how to learn the language. So it's definitely not generic, so it's interesting. So I will just go to add source, and I will add this Tim Ferriss video.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that you can manually add sources that you want deep research to go through. Is that it?
Yeah, but it's not the deep research. It's a Notebook LM. So essentially the idea is just like, essentially deep research can find you the sources, and Notebook LM is essentially, following your analogy, right? The deep research is your researcher, and the Notebook LM is your kind of, assistant, librarian, maybe also like an analyst and, researcher in terms of working with the kind of secondary sources.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah, so deep research goes and finds the data, and Notebook LM is this mega processing machine that's going to actually make sense of the data.
Yeah, because I think it's so cool that you mentioned that, because essentially when you use deep research, it already provides you kind of the summary, the report, right? And obviously this report, although like the OpenAI deep research is brilliant, it's crazy good. Google's one is pretty good. It's and I think it's yeah, they are, you know, at some point I think they will be basically on par. But I think if you want to go deep into the sources and with your knowledge, with your understanding, you want to extract things that might be irrelevant or, you know, not so important for the model, because models try to generalize things, right? And you want to extract something specific. The notebook LM is just like, it's so crazy good because, okay, let's not talk about it. Let's actually let's actually do it.
Yeah, let's show it. Let's show it.
Yeah. Show, don't tell. Okay, so I will add a few more videos about language learning, right? I will add this video by, what's this guy? Johnny Harris. Okay. And I have another one.
This is, of course, a simple video introducing the subject. So we're not going to go super deep and managing several different sources here. But we could add entire books into Notebook LM as well, right? On language learning with specific self-authored methods by teachers and tutors, right? We could create like a very detailed database here, right? But we're not doing that. We're doing like a couple of videos to get things like an MVP ready for this
to get
video,
things
right?
going. Yeah, exactly. And also like the crazy part, it's just like you essentially can then synthesize your own methodology, right? The way that I did with the system prompt, because some things are, you know, I like, some things I think are not that relevant or, you know, aligned with the way I would learn the language. So I can synthesize sort of my own method with this tool. So it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. And this is useful for someone who's learning a language, and especially useful for someone who teaches languages. So if by any chance you are a teacher, a Portuguese teacher, Spanish teacher, whatever, this is interesting. This is super interesting.
Yeah. So now we're going to ask it just provide best practices of rapid. Let's say I want to learn it fast because I need to visit you soon. So rapid language.
But yeah, Carnival just happened, Andrew. So there's no rush.
Next year. I mean, it will take me a year to learn it. Right? So
fair enough. It's not an easy, language.
Right. Provide best practices of rapid language learning. So now it's going to provide them specifically from these sources. It's not going to be generic from the model weights or something. It's going to be specific to the sources. And as you see,
what I'm interested to see is how will AI adapt these if we explain that these instructions are for a conversational agent. So I'm curious to see if that would change the suggestions or the best practices.
Yeah, I actually want to do that. So first I want to just take a kind of glance and see like things that I might want to take as they are. So prioritize listening. Okay.
Maybe make it a slightly larger if you can, the font.
Yeah. So I think it's already use space repetition. So it's pretty good because we're gonna do space repetition, but without any flashcard. We're gonna use the AI agents. Flashcard is like, you know, it's ancient. we got something way better than this now. Memorizing most common useful words. Okay, this is pretty good, by the way. You know, it's just like prioritize memorizing the most common useful words. So what I can do, I can take this and I can say to my agent, hey, I want you to focus on this one, right? So I want to okay, let's ask it like what's how to ask it, like, would it be provide best practices that are the most relevant to build language learning AI agent. Let's see how it's going to change. Okay. So prioritize high frequency vocabulary. By the way, yeah, it's exactly what I noticed too, right? Facilitate early speaking practice. Yeah, this is good. And again, you can use, by the way, you can use ChatGPT for the speaking practice. We're not going to go there, but we're gonna keep it for the next one because we can also integrate it with Tana. Provide structured learning resources. It's a good one. Incorporate active learning and repetition. Okay, yeah. Use mnemonic technique. Okay, maybe this is going to be cool. Just to provide me with mnemonics. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
AI
Yeah,
must be a mnemonic machine.
exactly. Yeah. So what we can do now? And now we're going to do something really, really cool. And it's not obvious.
I'm curious. What is it?
Yeah, let me show you. So let's go to Tana. Let's go to Tana now. And now we're already starting to build something in Tana, right? Because we are already not satisfied with the current, essentially we got 0 super tags, by the way, at the moment. We got only the agents and only the agent and the command. So I will put it agents and commands. And now I'm going to build my super tag system. So what I want to have best practice, right? Best practice. And I will convert it to super tag like this. By the way, the quick tip, if you're using Tana, I know some people kind of afraid of spaces in the super tag. This is fine. You can use those. It's like really, it works. So I will use best practice. And now what I will do, again, I will create like best practices, and I will take stuff from Notebook LM. Just again, I will create those things, right? I will take things that I like, and I will take prioritize memorizing the most common useful words. I really like this one. I will take definitely. I will take use mnemonic techniques for vocabulary acquisition. Yeah. And I will go with space repetition. Use space repetition software. Okay.
I see another good one there after the space repetition, and it is the when you go back, I'm going to mention because I need to see it. It's the it's focus on the goal of being able to communicate and understand, especially if your aim is to travel and basic interactions. That was what you were mentioning as a context, right? So that could be useful as well.
Could you repeat this one?
It's the 16 there on the bottom. Focus on the goal of being able to communicate and understand.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Focus on the goal of being able to. Okay, so essentially it's more like, just to rephrase this, it's just like focus on the goal of being able to communicate and understand, even like on imperfect language, right?
Yeah.
Even in imperfect language. So I will update it. Again, this is me. This is my program, right? So I will just try to, I learn something and I try to adapt it to myself. Okay, nice. So now we have those. Let me now actually change my screen a little bit.
And I also think it's worth mentioning here that these are super simple, right? We are not copying and pasting a whole explanation for what does utilizing mnemonic techniques for vocabulary acquisition mean, right? This phrase is most probably enough for AI to use this effectively already.
Yeah, but if we want, we can expand it, of course, add some context. So it's always up to us. Again, we will try to do things like really, really fast. So obviously we cut in the corners, but if some things might be like need additional context, you can go to these videos, find it, and if you say, okay, this is actually important, right? So maybe there's like specific mnemonic technique or something like this. You would say, okay, I actually want to have it. So, but now we just add super tag best practice, right? So best practice like this, beautiful. And now what we can do, now we will update our AI agent in a very clever way, right? We're going to go there and say, use the best practices. Best practices. And then we're going to have a query. Oh, here we can't have it like this. We're going to find notes with the tag best practice as a list. So now we have them here, right?
This is so cool. Like the fact that we can create and bring in information from anywhere into our agent. This is so cool.
And the crazy part is just like every time we add the new best practice, agent will automatically take it to consideration, right? So because it's going to use
immediately, yes.
Yeah, from the next interaction. So now we create
spoilers, just little spoiler. We can use our agent to create new best practices. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. That's some content for the next sections.
Yeah. This is something that's a bit more advanced, but we'll get there. Okay, I think we're pretty much through with the version 1, with the version 2. So we got already 2 versions, right? We use Notebook LM. So yeah, I mean, we're going pretty good. How about we create the V3 and we test them together? Because I think it's going to save us some time,
V3 right? is more about interaction and less about modifying the actual system prompt, right?
Yeah, so it's essentially we want to add some comments that are going to be helpful. And for this, we're going to continue with the build, right? So we got to get best practice. But now we're going to have something like a vocab, right? So I will convert it. I will create a super tag. And now I'm probably going to use blue. I don't know why. But I want to have something in like, obviously like in Portuguese, right?
GUE.
Yes. Yeah. I'm more or less now remember the spelling.
Yeah.
Okay. We go the Portuguese and we also go the English, right? The English. And how about we do like something like a cultural meaning, right? Because I think it's for me it's super like important.
Context more than like the specific definition, right?
Yeah, cultural context. Yeah. So now I have those 3, right? And essentially, let me show you how it looks. Let's take one of those words. Let's go with hola, right? This is correct, right?
That's the Spanish perfect grammar, but without the H, it's how you would write it in Portuguese.
Yeah. All right, like this. So we're gonna make it like the.
It also has an accent, but that will show up when we start using it.
Yeah. We're gonna have with vocab like this.
So let's build title from fields.
Yeah. So for this, we're gonna go here. We're gonna copy it to the here. Gonna add hello. What would be the cultural context for this word? Is it any?
It is one of the most common like introductions or greetings in Portuguese.
Yeah. Can we say most common?
Yeah.
Okay. Most common. Intro. Can it be like formal and informal? Or is it like?
It's slightly formal. Yeah.
Okay, slightly formal. Good. Slightly formal. I love it. Slightly formal. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're going to configure this vocab super tag. And we're going to build this from the field, right? And what I like to have, I actually want to have this, first of all, I want to have this Portuguese, right? But I still want to have a name, because if I have a name, I can use it like this, right? I can have the name variable. And then I go like this, and I will go English like this. And it will be kind of grayish, right? And I really like this look because it's so good, right? It's just like, because it's actually way easier to navigate. If like, for example, we could do it like all white, right? It's going to be like, or all black if you're on on the light theme. But having this is like these different colors, it's so good. I really love it. So this is why I prefer to keep it like this. But I still want to have the kind of Portuguese field, just in case maybe I want to kind of add something there, or it's going to be, let's see. I mean,
and
for
it's
now, I want to have it.
worth noting that if you change the name to Portuguese, then it would be all gray, right? So that's the distinction there. So if we keep the name, then it shows as white here with the black background. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so now we have this. And now we want to create a command which extract this vocabulary, right? So we're going to go to the commands again, and we're going to say extract vocabulary. Let's go with vocab, right? Because it's easier. We convert it to the command node. And now we're going to use AskAI, non-streaming. Non-streaming means just, it's not updating in real time. So when you use ChatGPT, you see like every token is kind of updating. Non-streaming, it's just like we get the full response and then we get it in Tana.
Yeah, so it's just gonna wait for the whole answer to be ready, and then Tana is going to give it to you.
Yeah, I think in this case, it doesn't matter because it's so simple, but I'm just kind of more used to use this non-streaming.
Yeah, I prefer it as well.
Okay. So we're going to create the field prompt.
Okay, so let's write the prompt for the AskAI non-streaming.
Yeah. Contains vocab. And then we go like this. So now we just reference the chat context. So we're going to go like this, and this is going to be the chat, right? So this context contains Portuguese vocab. And then we go extract it, and put into these formats. And now we're going to use clever trick. We're going to use Tanapaste for this. So we're going to take this Ola. We're going to copy it as Tanapaste. And we're going to paste it here as we can paste it as the code, right? For example, it doesn't, we can probably paste it without code. By the way, we don't need Tana here because it's automatically will be recognized. So essentially this is, right, this is the format we want.
Yeah, I think we should only remove the hello from the top because it's inside the build title from fields, so we don't need that.
Yeah, this is very important comment because if we do that, we will. If we don't do that, we will end up with all of the names with the translation already, and we won't be able to use this code structure. So this is super important. Those small things matter because if you fail with those, you're not going to be able to have a build which is really high quality. I think we're going to need something 0.3. It's super easy to ask, so we don't need that. What we need, let's use model. Let's use Claude, actually. Claude is pretty good with this stuff, so let's use Claude. And we also need a target node here, right?
Yeah, that's important.
And we can create actually vocab target node, right? So we can create vocab.
Yeah,
so we're going to have
to the My Learning chats, right?
Yeah. So we will have all the vocabulary in one place. I mean, it doesn't matter, but it just like keep us organized because we're probably going to use query for just find them. So
yeah, exactly. We will probably use a query or the live search, but that these are not spread across your daily nodes, it's a good thing to have them in one node.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I don't think we need to have anything more. So now when we have this extract vocab command, we will just add it to the tutor. So we go here, and here we have this compact menu, and we'll put it there.
And the compact menu is the menu with commands. So it's a compact menu for commands.
Yeah. And essentially, agents only have the compact menu because you only see them in the chat. So I think it's more or less for kind of consistency, for Tana consistency at the moment.
Yeah, it's the same field used in SuperTag. So that's why it's called compact menu.
Okay. Yeah, so now we have this command in a compact menu. And let's see how it's all work. Now we have the agent of the version 3. So what we can do now...
Now it's time to test.
Yeah, now it's time to test. So again, we will run it just from here because later on we're going to have some kind of the super tag where it's going to be running, right? So now, you know what? Let's do something more fun. Let's do something differently. Let's do another.
Do you know? Just a comment before you speak.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we include the list of vocabularies inside the prompt that extracts the vocabularies so that it does not repeat?
Oh, this is a good one. Yeah. It's gonna take more context, but it actually, it's super cool idea.
But yeah, I think it's safe in the long term.
Yeah. No, it's important because you're right. Otherwise, we're gonna end up with a lot of just the duplicates, and
I think it can go on the end, right, of the prompt. So like, and then after the format is explained, here is all of the vocabulary we already have in our knowledge base.
Yeah, do not. By the way, we can use maybe Gemini for this because Gemini has a long context. So we will. I mean, for the beginner, we'll definitely never run out of.
But if we're using this for a couple of months, then let's use Gemini.
Yeah. No, it's just like a general rule. Don't extract vocab if it's in this list. Now we do list. Okay. Find nodes. Tag vocab is list. Okay. We don't have much now.
And here, I think it's worth mentioning we don't need to expand the references because all we need is the name of the word and AI is going to know what that means, right? If we wanted to show what's inside each of these nodes, right, the vocab node, then we would need to expand the references there.
Yeah, we're going to use the specific field, but we will show it to you. So it's
for now, it's all good.
Yeah, for now it's all good. So now I want to do something very interesting. So now give me another word, something maybe hi. What would be like? How do you say hi?
It's oi, O-I.
Like this, right?
Yeah, that's hi. Similar to hello, of course.
Yeah. So I'm going to use like this. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use hi. Right. Culture context. Less formal greeting, right?
Yes, exactly.
Greeting? Or just like informal greeting?
Yeah.
Informal greeting, right? And now what we can do actually cool things. So now we can actually create sort of vocab groups, right? So this is what I would do, right? So I would do like vocab group. By the way, guys, this stream is the total experiment. So we didn't prepare anything up front. We kind of agreed on a general logic, but a lot of design decisions that you see, we didn't come up with them beforehand. It's just like it's coming. They emerge after when we build. So it's just like it's super cool to see like how we brainstorm. I love building together in Tana because as you see, sometimes you're so focused. So for example, this idea with vocabulary, it's so important, right? It's so silly to have, your vocab kind of duplicated. But I didn't even think about it. And this here just to help me. And when this is going to build, hopefully I will I will also be able to contribute something. So
and just to exemplify, I'm learning. I'm getting to know Andrew's idea together with all of you right now. I didn't know he was going to bring up the vocab group, and this is an awesome idea, Andrew. I know
exactly. I'm coming up with it just now. I didn't think about this beforehand. I was just like, this is the idea, like how we can show like versatility of the agent. So that was my idea, and this is what I want to like.
I actually still don't know what you're gonna build, so keep going, man.
Yeah, okay. Hopefully it's gonna be something good. So we're gonna go with the vocab group greetings, right? Greetings, and we're gonna call it like vocab.
Nice.
Group. And what I want to do, I want to now have those things connected, right? Group to the groups. I will have groups because obviously one word can be connected to multiple groups. So I will have groups, and I will have. We will, by the way, make it also EI field later on because we obviously don't want to manually put this stuff. It's a hassle right every time too. But
Yeah.
I just want to make it quick. So it's going to be group. And now I will just add, okay, it's going to be greetings. And this is going to be greetings, right? So now inside the vocab group, I want to have a query, which is queries all of the vocab, right? Vocab from this group. So yeah, I'll just go away.
This part, for everyone watching, this is the real interesting part, right? Which is for each vocab group, Andrew is now creating the search to find all of the vocab related to that group. So this is where you actually crystallize and materialize in a practical way all of the structure that we were creating kind of behind the scenes, right? So this is where the vocabs are going to be useful within a specific context related to this group, in this example, greetings, right?
Exactly. So now let's make it like groups, and we're going to use parent here just to make it universal, right? I'm building this in the node, but I will later on move it to SuperTag, obviously. So okay, beautiful.
Can you move it from the actual node there, or is that just for fields? If you right click on the search node on the left, can you add to template as well? Yeah, looks like it. Add to template content.
Yeah, that's even better. By the way, never done this before.
Yeah,
nice catch.
I had only done it I only did it with fields on the past. So good to know it works with searches as well.
Yeah. No, I also did it with fields, but never done it with searches. And we can also move it to the related content, but I think now we don't need it. So now what I want to do, I want to add the comment. I want to actually create another comment, but this is going to be different comment. This is going to be the comment. This is going to be like practice vocab, right? And I want to convert it to comment node, and I want to use AI chat. And I want to use the same agent, which knows our, all the predispositions, all the ideas, right? So I will use the same agent. So every time I update this agent, all the updates is going to be applicable to all the comments that we are creating, right? So I will use. So now I'm going to use this initial prompt. Essentially, initial prompt is the kind of the input to the agent, right? You can view it as more like an input because it's the system prompt.
It's the first message. Yeah, so it's initial prompt is equivalent to the first message because the prompt is a message, initial is the first, right? So it's how you would explain to this agent what are your instructions to use it for this specific example, for this specific use case.
Yeah, exactly. And let's also use this kind of targets since we're trying to keep things organized. We're going to put them into this My Learning chats, right? So here what I want to have actually help me to practice this vocab. That's it. Very simple because all of the other instructions are already in the agent, right? And here I think I'm going to need to use expand, right? Because it's the search node under the node. So it's probably.
Yeah.
So for this, we're going to use this field expand references, right? And we're going to expand them on the context because essentially the context we want to take like the whole, we're going to have this whole group greetings, right? And we're going to have everything there because we might later on add some fields there. So we want to have it all. So we will just use.
And just to explain and contextualize, this practice vocab is going to, the command practice vocab is going to live inside the SuperTag vocab group. So when we pass the context, we're passing the entire node with this specific SuperTag, which means the entire group of words in this vocabulary group. So after some tinkering, we finally understood how to make this work. So we are going to use the expand references. For that, we are going to change the vocab group super tag. So here we had a search inside the super tag itself. So we're going to configure this quickly because what we need is a field here. So I'm going to create a field called vocab list, and I'm actually going to move this search into the field and importantly make a change here from parent to grandparent because this has to do with the level of indentation here. So now we're all set.
Yeah, I want to add here just like essentially the idea of this expand reference field. It's expanding stuff from the fields in the fields, but it's not expanding stuff if it's the search query under the node. So this is why we struggle with this. So because we collected this into the node, and this is totally fine because essentially we're using this vocab group as the more like kind of technical tool rather than something that is we're gonna really kind of use. I'm gonna use it in my practice, right? It's for me, it's a technical tool to practice some specific vocab. So it's totally fine to have it in the field. It's a little bit like maybe less kind of native for me, just because I need to spend some time clicking into a field and when I want to use it manually, when I want to see it manually. But it's totally fine, and it's totally aligned with the way Tana recommends us to do so.
And
not a big deal.
A good way to think about this is that the fields are more useful for AI. So the fields are structuring information for AI. And if we want the same information, which would be the list of words, for us, we could use the related content, which is here on the advanced options, right? So we could create this same list as a more user-friendly list that we can see and not have to go into the field to find. So that's also possible, yeah. Now, getting back on track here. So once we have this field, now we can use the expand references field, and we will use this field reference inside the expand references instead of the entire node for this vocab group. Now, with this, I hope this is going to work, and let's make a quick test here to figure out. So I'm going to close the configurations, and I'm going to practice with our vocab list. So let's make sure this is updated. And now we will see that we have a vocab list here. Let's add.
Yeah, what Fizz just did, he essentially removed the super tag and added again. And what happened is for Tana, it reinitialized the node and updated it according to the new design. So essentially when we move this query into the field. So this is very important because, for example, if you update the super tag design, right, with this kind of additional fields, and you want to move stuff, you might want to do that because apparently if you're not doing this, you're going to have the older kind of structure, and you might get into trouble.
That's a very good point. And so this is just a quick one. Gia, good morning. Let's skip the cultural context for now. We just want to practice. So here we go. Vocabulary practice. It gives us these 3 words, the only 3 words we have, and it now is finally accessing our list. And it gives us a couple of examples of how to use each of these. And this is looking good. This is making sense.
Yeah. And it also provide us with some practice, and it also provide us with some examples. So this is our best practices are working. Do we have our comment on the bottom of this chat?
Yes.
This agent. Yeah. So now, but if we press that, it's not going to happen. So we're not going to get anything. So how about we ask it, provide us this similar, maybe like additional greeting related vocabulary.
We don't need to mention the language. Yeah, good afternoon, good evening, boa tarde, boa noite. Okay, so now we have a couple of more vocabulary words, and This means we should be able to test our command from V3 here as well, which
Yeah.
I proudly checked. And let's see. Yeah,
Drum
let's
roll.
see what's going to happen.
It's interesting.
And
Okay.
it has extracted these
Okay,
items inside the greeting.
Yeah, I didn't put them into the node that we specify
Yeah.
for some reason. Why? Maybe what happened there? Could you go there into the command
Yes.
configuration? Let's see what happened.
Target.
Sure. We got a target node. It's pretty weird, I'd say. Usually it works pretty fine.
We shouldn't have to do this because default is entered as child. But yeah, we can try this again. Let's run this again and see if it adds them here now.
Yeah, now it works.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, okay. It added some context, but it's just like, but it didn't use the structure.
We might have
Interesting.
to add some more instructions to the specific format that we want, right?
Let's try to use the smarter model. It's just like let's use GPT-3 mini. We need a smarter guy here.
So let's use.
So we don't want to
mini
tinker with the prompt.
Let's add just only output the list of words in the following format. Nothing else. Now I'm going to delete this. And I'm also going to delete this for now so that we are looking at a clean slate here. So let's close the configuration so we have a cleaner view, and let's run this again. Let's expand the vocab. Let's expand the greetings. Nice. Now
amazing.
We have it.
Now it works
perfectly. Good.
Yeah. So the only thing we're missing now it's the automatic attribution to the group, to the vocab group. But we can do that with the EI comment. What do you think? Should we do that or should we skip it? Because I think we're already like a little bit running out of time. So I think we need to kind of move fast.
I agree. Yeah.
But you can if you want this, just ask us. We'll show you how to do it.
We can very quickly add this here. Let's see.
Yeah.
Group, right?
Well, I mean, it might be problematic because it might, but we need to use this specific. We need to use query here because it will lead us to some mistakes. We might want to. I might want to name different. It's just like I think it's a workaround, but I think it's better to use it properly. Just to create another comment or EI field. I mean, EI field is essentially
vocab group.
But yeah, I mean, this is definitely the workaround if you want to if you want to be lazy.
So let's try this because we're not going to have the list of vocab groups. We would need to add this here as well. So this should work for this example only, right? Because it's the same vocab group, but. Yeah, it's a quick workaround.
Actually, no, it's not. It's going to work for many examples because it's the example, and GPT-3 will understand that this is just an example.
True. Yeah.
So it's going to work. But again, if I want to name my group differently,
so oops. But it did create a new group here, so it didn't use the previous one.
Yeah, because you didn't use the square brackets. You need to use the square brackets.
Right?
Yeah, and I don't think you need to use a super tag for this. You can just add greetings, and because it's groups already have this. Yeah, I think this is going to work.
So we would need to. Let's delete all of these.
Yeah.
And run again. So just so you all know, we are using this same chat, which has these new suggestions of words, and we are running this command several times on the same chat and looking at the answers,
Yeah.
right? So now it looks like we've got the group right. And if we come here,
yeah, we did it right. Yeah. Everything works. It's slightly a lazy
solution.
Lazy,
yes. But
yeah, but
it works for now.
Yeah, but you get it. Yeah, it works for now for this build. We're trying to build MVP, yes. Right? Minimal viable prototype.
Yeah. And now the list is updated. So
okay.
All looking good.
Amazing, amazing. We got 3 stages ready. We got the agent version 3 now, right? So now we can go to the next phase. So now let's go to the version 4 of the agent, right? Let's see like what do we have. We essentially want to add the dynamic memory and self-improvement. So I can share with you like what I had in mind for this, and maybe we can brainstorm on this a little bit.
Yes. Do you want to show your screen as well?
No. I think I'm good to go because I think it's your turn to build. So I will just share with you my ideas, but it's essentially up to you. How do you want to put them?
Fair enough. Sounds good.
Yeah. So the idea is just like when I interact with this agent, and by the way, it's good that you're going to be steering this because it's going to be way easier for you to make mistakes that are reasonable in Portuguese rather than me, because mine are going to be like because I don't know like anything. It's going to be not a mistake. It's going to be just void essentially. So the idea here is, for example, you interact with the agent, right? And you have like typical mistakes. You have like a typical maybe patterns. And the idea have the command, which is essentially like the extract vocab command, but it's going to be sort of evaluate command. So it's going to be evaluating my performance. And the idea here, it's going to provide a short summary of my performance. Like what are the typical problems and so on and so forth. And then we can put this evaluation into the system prompt of the agent. So it adjusts its own kind of assignments or teaching style to kind of consider my typical problems and my kind of personal style, right? It's obviously not going to be that valuable when I'm like 0, right? But when I grow, it's like when I know already some vocab, when I would say something like, I would do like typical mistakes, like moving words, right? Like using like incorrect sequence of words. And it's good that agents would know about this and actually consider this in my sort of teaching experience, in his teaching experience, in its teaching experience.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, this is so useful. Yeah, it's basically a personalized approach to your specific mistakes. And it could be mistakes, but it could also be specific contexts or specific points of interest, right? Where we are really interested in, and AI might gear us towards examples that are related to a specific context, right? It could be a travel, it could be a business, right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. It doesn't have to be about the language. It might be, I mean, yeah, you're essentially spot on, right? It might be about the themes I prefer. It might be about like topics I enjoy talking about. It might be about my life situation. It might be about this kind of, by the way, later on we can connect it to the voice, because in the voice, when we have this situation where we, for example, I love to eat, right? And when I go to the restaurant, I'm probably going to be like what should I say, right? And the idea of the agent being able to extract this and say, hey, Andrew is actually huge eater, so he like in my practice I need to do this bias towards kind of situation restaurant a little bit more, right? So, and it's going to extract it automatically by itself. So it's going to find the patterns which we might not even be aware of. And this is so cool, right?
Yeah. And again, let's imagine this outside of the language learning context, right? How valuable can this pattern recognition be for things that we're not aware of in our daily life, in our life, like challenges and situations, reflections, work considerations? There's so many use cases here. So let's go. Let's get started.
Yeah, let's build it. Yeah.
Okay. So let's start then with the evaluate my performance command. And
maybe just evaluate because we don't want to just we don't want performance. We want many things, right?
True.
Yeah.
We are going to use ask AI again. This evaluate command is going to be similar to the extract vocab one, which is inside the Portuguese Tutor AI agent. So in here, we are going to start by writing up our prompt. And one thing that I like to do, Andrew, maybe you would like to do things different, but that's how my mind usually works, is I usually like to open a previous command to see what was the content that I already instructed AI with. And usually this gives us some starting point. So this part is going to be similar. Like it contains Portuguese, but now it's not necessarily vocab. It's an interaction, right?
Yeah, language learning interaction, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Language interaction between me and my AI agent tutor. And here we are going to use the chat as well because we want to send over the entire chat we were using. And now we do not want a list of vocabs. What I would consider now is what are the new super tags that we are going to be using, right? Because we already have the vocab, the list of words. I would probably be geared towards a list of common mistakes or challenges. And probably another one would be, should we stick only with the common mistakes for now? I think that would be a simple, good example, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just like as the bigger vision for this agent, we might have something like the complex evaluation, which includes mistakes, typical situations, and so on and so forth. But the mechanics is going to be exactly the same. So yeah. I agree. Let's go with the mistakes.
Let's focus on one simple mistake. And in this case, let's leave this here for now. Let's focus on our list and what we want this mistake to look like. So say analyze our interaction with the AI learning tutor and generate a short list of common mistakes I have made in this conversation. And we do not want to extract the mistakes if it's already in this list. And we're going to do the same thing, but with the list of mistakes. Mistakes list. And we're going to find nodes. Okay. We're going to find nodes with the common mistake tag. Now, should we add any fields here? How are we dealing with describing the mistakes? Are we looking for like a mistake and solution approach? Are we just keeping track of these mistakes? What do you figure we should do, Andrew?
Yeah, I think what actually will be interesting is have this kind of workaround where I somehow want to check my mistakes and say, hey, I don't want to practice this anymore. So in this case, I might want to move them sort of away somewhere. I can retag them or do something like this. But if I make this mistake again, I want it to appear one more time. So maybe we will just simply add the checkbox for the common mistakes. And the checkbox means that if it's non-checked, that means its mistake is still relevant. So I think that would be like the simplest way. Again, I will probably want to build something more complex just to following up my learning journey. But it's just example how you can actually connect this agent to your other processes in Tana, right? And how you can use your typical workflows, but at the same time provide the updated context for the agent.
Yeah, I like that. So let's use a current mistake field. Does that seem appropriate?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we still do not want to extract mistakes if they are in this list, regardless of if they are checked or not.
No, I think we want to actually extract them, because we need to. So the workflow would be, okay, let's say I put okay, this is not my current mistake, right? So I uncheck it. So I want it appear again, right? I want it appear again because it just like, okay, this is the problem now. I again experienced this. So
Okay,
for me,
yeah.
it's more kind of I mean, again, it's not perfect, but still I'm kind of thinking about how I can process this. And I kind of want to, like, first of all, have the mechanism of saying, hey, I don't want to practice this mistake anymore. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just like, I don't feel like it. Maybe I feel like it's silly. Maybe I feel like it's not what I'm interested in. But at the same time, if AI keep noticing this, I might want to go back to it. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fun just to have it as like in the current version. And then later on for me to think like what would be the better kind of processing cycle for me.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we are going to filter in this case for the mistakes that are no, yes.
Yes. And
Yeah.
also
Yes. Here.
by default, you should have this kind of yeah, exactly.
So the default is a current mistake, and we want to show all current mistakes here because we do not want to extract these because they are not new. Now we want to keep track of these mistakes, and this, just as we did with the vocab, we are going to create a mistakes node so that we can keep track of all these mistakes. And we are going to add this as the target node here in this ask AI command. So I'm going to copy the reference. And again, if we compare with the extract vocab command, we'll see that it's looking quite similar now because it has a target node. And now we just need to add a couple more fields and define what is the format that we want this output to be like. So I'm going to add the field here for temperature.
Yeah, I think in terms of format, it should be just a summary of the mistake. I think for now it's going to be
super simple. Yeah.
Super simple. Yeah.
So this is as child, and the model should be, I would say, a reasoning model.
I think the same because it's pretty it's extracting mistakes might be tricky.
Slightly
and again
complex. Yeah.
And again, matching them with the list, it might require some cognitive brain power.
Yeah. So extract mistakes and put into this format, which is mistake description, common mistake. Because we might want to detect more than one mistake, right? This looks good enough. So I think we can test this. And
I mean, to make this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, to make this prompt a little bit more bulletproof, I think it's better to add the examples of mistakes. If you want, I can quickly generate them and send them to you. Just like I will put them. I will put them right into the Tana. So give me just 1 second.
Sounds good. Yes. So this is another example of how collaborating in AI commands in Tana is nice, because I'm not doing anything and the mistakes examples are going to appear there by Andrew. Yeah, these are good examples.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you did there. So
Yeah.
one thing that I usually do is I just put the placeholder for what the example would be. And Andrew just gave that a massive boost by actually getting a real life example and describing the example in full words. And that's an even better example for AI. So this should give us even better answers. And that's really good.
Yeah.
So now that we have the examples here and we are ready to generate this list of mistakes, I think we can go for an example of what this would extract for us and then show the part where we are actually doing this self-improvement part and sending this information back into our agent. So let's start an interaction for that. So I'm going to use a new node here. It's going to come into my learning chat. So I'm going to learn Portuguese. Now, let's see. We've talked about greetings. Let's talk a little bit about, please tell me the most common nouns in Portuguese. Tell me 5 of the most common nouns. Okay. So these are a couple of very common nouns so that we can use them in a phrase somehow. And I'm going to write in Portuguese and generate a couple of mistakes. And then importantly, I'm going to add our command to the agent so that we can generate this analysis. So I'm going to place it here in the compact menu, and I'm going to copy it here from our command itself. And you will see that as soon as I copy and paste this command into the agent, it shows up here on the bottom. So let's use an example with casa, which is house or home.
I think you did something very, very important. I just want to linger on this a little bit because essentially like commands and agents, they are separate modules, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not like the agents have this runtime and you can add the commands only when the agent sort of, on the pause, right? And you need to reload it, reboot it. But because it's a completely separate module and it's just like, it takes this sort of context from the agent, which is already available to us, and it will then process it. We can add those commands on the go as Fizz just did.
Yeah, and you can add them on the go and also edit them on the go. So any changes I make right now are going to be reflected when I actually run this. So that's a very good point, Andrew. And so here I'm going to make a couple of easy mistakes using this in a phrase. So let's say, correct my Portuguese in the following phrases. So meu casa, which is supposed to be wrong because it's not taking the gender into consideration. Is muito bonita. So this is supposed to be, my house is very beautiful. And there are a couple of mistakes here, as you'll see. The nouns have genders, and casa is a feminine one, which means it shouldn't be meu, it should be minha, which is the equivalent of my in male version and mine in female version. And yeah, so the correct sentence is minha casa é muito bonita. Now, this is a clear mistake, and I'm going to hit evaluate to see what description we get from this chat and how this actually looks like in our mistakes node here. As you will see, this is running, and I'm going to expand.
Nice.
Okay, so it
it's no additional
added,
mistakes.
Yeah, it added a little prepended a description of the mistake. We could use the evaluate command to make it clearer that we want only a description of the command itself, right? So I guess we should
of mistake itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it also maybe like it took those as the kind of ideas that we already have though. That might be confusing for it, right? So maybe we will maybe either remove one of those or
examples.
So you see, this is interesting because essentially the adjustment led us to the problem, right? Because when I added like the specific mistake, it took it like, okay, this is the one we already know because its full model is the same context. It's super cool. It's super interesting. So now we need to use something, some kind of really weird, maybe, kind of mistake that is not going to be available to us, or following as you did earlier, just to say this is the mistake description.
Yeah, something like that. But one thing that I think could work is extract and put them in these formats, and then describe the format briefly. So let's say the format should be a short description of the mistake without any components of conversation or explanation as related to the specific context. Does this make sense?
Yeah, I think so. But I think for this to work, you still need to remove those.
These, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, doesn't hurt to run this again. So let's see. Okay, now it noticed and it put it in a slightly better version. So let's actually remove this. It uses the exact same phrasing. So it's indeed a little bit suspicious. So let's remove these. And
yeah,
I'm going to actually move these here. So let's say
kind of like a spare parts, right?
Examples of mistakes. So we are not throwing these away, but let's take this description, and then here we would go for common mistake, and then we are duplicating this.
Maybe just go 1, 2, mistake description, mistake 1 description, mistake 2 description.
Yeah, good. And let's see what this gives us. Okay.
It created the super tags.
Yeah, it created the super
Nice.
tags. These are all things we need to explain in the prompt. So use the super tag. Common mistake at the end of the node. So let's remove these again, and let's run this again. Perfect. So now we have 2 different mistakes, both of them related to gender, but that's okay. They're still different.
Yeah, I mean, we can also adjust it by saying, hey, if there are mistakes, they're similar. Try to kind of make the one that is more common. But I mean, in terms of the output, is this something that we're aiming for?
Yeah, and this is very good for the example that we're working with, right? So this is enough for us to show how this can be valuable, right? So I'm actually going to close these chats because this is what we wanted. We have a list of common mistakes. Now where things get very interesting is the part where we are going back to the agent and we are transforming the knowledge that we just generated as a dynamic memory or a means of self-improvement on the agent itself. So here we had a couple of instructions for the prompt. Then we added a list of best practices. And now we're going to add a list of common mistakes. So consider the following list of common mistakes that I am currently, let's say, doing or facing. And here we're going to find nodes with the tag common mistake and list of common mistakes. And here we can choose to filter this by the current mistake or not. So we can show only the current mistakes if we do not want this list to show any of the things we've already mastered, right? So I would include this field expression here, this filtered for this field of current mistake being active. And from here, we can simply consider this list or we could use it strategically, right? So what do you figure we should do, Andrew? Should we add some instructions with this list to actually like just keep this in mind or actually try to solve this? How
I think
were you
what
looking at
what
this?
I would do, I would actually change the model because now our agent is becoming like really really smart, and I think for O might be already like not suitable for the job. So
Yeah,
I would change it to
I
the
agree.
O3. So if we change it to O3, it's probably okay just to leave consider, because I think the model will figure it out because it's going to generate the
Yeah,
kind of reasoning tokens for itself, and it's going to find out the nice way to kind of go
like,
to these mistakes
yeah.
and integrate them into the output.
And how to consider these mistakes as valuable information for this role of being a language tutor. So yeah.
And also for the
Okay.
for the context, because we might want to experience vocab, we might want to add comments like practice grammar, we might want to like simulate a conversation, and all of this will be with exactly the same agent, which knows the best practices, knows the common mistakes, right? Have this kind of methodological part that we develop. So it's so crazy, right? Because
Yeah.
it's just like this thing, it embeds a lot of knowledge, and it can be used in a multiple different contexts with just this simple system prompt, initial prompt, right? With this simple two prompts system.
Yeah, totally. And that's a very important dynamic of the system prompt inside the agent. And here we have generated a couple of commands here. I think it's worth categorizing them into agent commands, which are these two that live inside the agent itself. And these other ones are more of, let's say, user commands, right? Or general commands, yeah. Because these are commands that we are going to use inside Tana outside of the agents. So, yeah. So how about we give this a test or keep on generating more mistakes?
Okay, I think we got the version 4. We're really close to implement
Yes.
all 6 versions. Okay, so now we go into this part where we're going to use audio. So Fizz, maybe you could just outline your thinking about it.
Yes.
Just for us to synchronize.
there are, of course, several ways we could use the voice in this context, but one that I find is going to be most useful for beginners is speaking in any language you want, right? Or your mother language, and then using the agent to translate that into the new language. And one thing we could build on top of that is identifying the vocabs, like the words that we used in our original language and what that vocabulary would be in Portuguese in this case. So I think
I
that would
love
be
it.
the easiest thing for us to build. How about
It's
it?
so useful actually. I can like 100% imagine myself doing this like when I learn a new language. You know, it's not like
Yeah.
we're like, oh, let's use it like this, but it's so crazy useful because I would just like I'm on the street, I'm talking to someone and I just like I don't know what to say. And I just like, hey, how to say, can you help me, right? And later on
Hmm.
when you go back to your town, it's actually you already got the solution for you. You will never
Yeah.
forget. It's amazing.
And I think it's worth commenting here that Andrew could use ChatGPT straight away and he would get an immediate translation and he would see how the word is in Portuguese in this example. But it would be much, much harder for him to remember this translation than if we use Tana. Because if we capture and send it into Tana, it's going to keep let's say a knowledge base, a database with the vocabulary that you just learned in the new language. So this is building a vocabulary that you can access and study. So it's a structured approach to learning a new language.
Yes, something that you mentioned, it's so important because essentially like those are like two different approaches. One is more contextual, I need an answer
Hmm.
right now. And
Yeah.
another one would be this is the part of my learning experience. And those two, I mean, in the ideal world, they are connected, right? So you can export stuff
Yes.
from the GPT to your Tana and have them in one system. But in the real world, you're probably going to forget about this, other things get in the way. So it's really important to kind of be disciplined and input stuff specifically into your learning system rather than into the multiple contexts where you're going to eventually forget about them and
Yeah.
your learning is going to be like really it's going to struggle.
Yes. Perfect. So okay, let's build this. Um, One thing I imagine being useful is to create a super tag that we can assign to the voice notes that we capture for this specific use case. So I would probably name this um, something like a voice practice or a voice
Maybe just
translation.
just kind of vocab request something like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
vocab request. Let's turn this into any other color here. Original transcript. I would go as far as to create like a translated transcript field just to have like the entire transcript being translated. And then I think we can have a field for extracted vocab,
Yeah.
and this way we can create the terms which would have this tag of the vocab inside this vocab request, and in this case they would not be sent to this node of vocab. We could add this as well, that's not a big deal, but don't worry because either way we would create a search where we can find all nodes with the tag of vocab as a list. And if we have a vocab search, we will always be able to find any vocab, even if it was created on another place, such as on a new super tag.
And also, I think we will be able to create, like, see the source, right? In this, if we
Yeah.
put it into the table view, we'll be able to see the source, and we're gonna know, like, either I inputted it or this is the result of the, of the
Yes.
interaction with some sort of AI.
Yeah, I like that. So here we have the fields ready. I'm going to leave these all plain for now. This is not a problem. Now, what we want to do is to create a new command, and let's use our agents and commands here. This is more of a general use command, and we are going to call it um, generate vocab. Build vocab. For now, if we have a better name, we are going to change it. And this is going to be an Ask AI non-streaming, but we need a step before that, and that is to transcribe this audio. So let's start from the beginning, and this is super simple. We are only going to choose the target node, which is going to be this field called original transcript, because this is where the original transcript is going to go. We are not going to define a default language, because you could speak in Spanish, in English, in German, anything, and it would be stored here in the original transcript. And then the second thing I would do is to translate the transcript. So for this, I'm going to use the run AI fields command, and I'm going to transform this field called translated transcript into an AI field, which is here on the bottom. It's an AI enhanced field, and it's going to have a custom prompt to translate the following message into Portuguese.
I
Andrew?
wonder if we also, like, filter this a little bit in terms of, like, for example, imagine this situation. I'm on the street and somebody tell me, and or I need to help. I need help from someone, and I don't know how to ask it. And I want to say, hey, I struggle with the phrase, I need your help,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's going
Okay.
to extract. I don't need the translation for I need a help, right? Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
need I need to put it into the vocabulary or something like this, right? I need your assistance, but I want this specific, like, I
Yes.
need your help phrase.
Okay. You'll find a request with a specific phrase, term. I'm going to make this specific to Portuguese for now. So below you find a request or term in Portuguese.
No, it's gonna be in English or in the native language.
True, yeah, or phrase or term that I want to learn in Portuguese. A specific input language that I want to learn in Portuguese. Your task is to extract the phrase.
I think you can say the key phrase, something like this. It's probably gonna understand it.
Yeah, key referred to in the script, and translate only that key phrase into Portuguese. And here we will pass along the original transcript. Here is the original, is my message with the request for you. So this is the custom prompt, and this is going to be saved inside this field called translated transcript. And this should be good enough for our prompt. should we use a better model than 4.0, or
No, I think
4.0
4.0 is going to
should be
be like,
fine, right?
yeah, it's super simple. It's just like it takes this part, which is, very, very like explicitly needs to be translated.
So let's make it explicit that this is GPT 4.0. Let's move back to our super tag.
I want to just quickly follow up on what you just did, because I think many beginners actually struggle with this. So every AI field is essentially AI comment, and if you go to this configuration right here on the bottom,
So here, custom prompt, and this
yeah.
same prompt is reflected here on the bottom.
Yeah, in advanced. And if you want to configure the command which is running inside the AI field, you can do all of the configuration you need. Because I know some beginners in Tana kind of treat AI fields as a little bit like crippled tool, but it's not, because it's essentially the same command. So it's just like you can always tweak it, you can always adjust it. It's just useful to have this instead of this millions of buttons, just have this kind of nice sparkle icon. You click it and it just works.
Exactly. So we can edit the fields, and what we're actually doing is editing the command that lives inside this field, basically. So now here in the run AI fields, getting back to our command, we are going to run this field for the translated transcript. And from here, now we are going to run our final command, which is to consolidate everything into the extracted vocab field. And this is actually going to do something super similar to what the extract vocab command does. So I'm actually going to close this for now, and I'm going to open this command in the sidebar so that we can compare one thing with the other and save time here in this new command that we're building. So let's start with the prompt. And again, this is going to be a request to build vocab, but this time it's not going to be the specific chat, it's going to be the specific transcript. So I'm going to use the same introduction here, but instead of using the chat, I'm going to reference that translated transcript field, because this is where the message we want is in this specific context. For the rest, I'm actually going to use pretty much everything the same as we had here. I'm going to duplicate this.
Should we change the name of translated transcript, because now it's not just a transcript, it's probably translated kind of request, like, maybe
maybe message or phrase.
Something along those lines. Just to kind of make sure that
let me
we don't use transcript because it's not correct.
Yes, I totally agree. So translated phrase now, and the rest is going to be pretty much the same. And something I really like to do to create commands in Tana is to duplicate things and move them onto a new command. And you can do that easily by holding Command Shift D, letter D, or Control Shift D in Windows. And what this does, it creates a perfect copy of everything you had selected. And now you can just click on any of the nodes and drag this over. And this is super fast. So now we have our same vocab list. We have our same vocab groups. And this should give us something interesting to play with. And I think we can test this already. Let's take this for a ride, shall we?
I think we can. It's just like at the moment we need to also explain like how this input is going to be connected to the agent, right? Because Like one way is obviously just to create the vocab group, right? And put it there, and then just use the agent to practice it right away. So that would be kind of the one way that we implemented, but there are millions of ways that you can do it, right? So you can just have the sort of how about we do it? Let's create like the kind of the space repetition command quickly. What do you think? Just kind of from the list of vocab, provide me free, like a free, free English words, and wait for me to translate them to Portuguese.
Okay, should we do that in the daily node, something like that?
Well, I mean, we can do it here. I mean, it's let's just create another comment which we call like space repetition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just space repetition. And should this be a chat or an Ask AI?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do the chat. Sure. With the same agent.
Yeah. That has to be the same agent because this is our master agent for today. And with the initial prompt of how should we approach this?
I think just we can do like query all of the vocabulary we have and say from this vocabulary randomly select 3 words and ask me for a translation in Portuguese. But I think obviously, like if we want to tweak the system, we should create some kind of space repetition approach where we can, for example, select by the way, we can do it. Like we can create for the vocabulary, we can just make it kind of with the checkbox, right? We can add the checkbox to the vocabulary super tag, and we can just query things that are checked. So essentially, for me, that would be something that I practice at the moment.
Yeah,
so it's like super easy workaround.
Okay, so let's add the checkbox here as well.
I think you can even do it like a simpler. You can just add the checkbox to the super tag itself.
Oh, okay, and then we can filter here.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
smooth, sure. And then let's update our search here. We have not added the list of vocab to the agent itself.
Yeah, we shouldn't because it's
we shouldn't.
It's
right.
Yeah, it's contextual. So we will add it to this comment and specifically with the checkbox done. So I wanna do the space repetition only on the stuff I explicitly selected for. For this
awesome. Yeah.
Product.
Okay. So let's look at the vocabulary we have in our vocab list. And what should we do from there? Create a space repetition strategy?
Maybe just provide me 3 random words in English and wait for me to translate them to Portuguese. And you don't have to put, the beauty of it, you don't have to put anything related to mistakes because we already put it into the agent system prompt.
So should these words be inside the list or outside of the list?
Yeah, inside the list. Yeah.
Inside. Words from the list. 3 from this list in English so that I can translate them into Portuguese. Now, find nodes with the tag of vocab marked done as list. So here the marked done means that it has a check.
Yeah, because by default it's used by the tasks, but you can use this checkbox for your own workflows. Just keep in mind that for Tana is going to be done status, but you can do like, I use it so much actually for for selecting the stuff that I want to query. This is like, for me, it's one of the most useful workflows ever.
Yeah, it's super smart to use this to differentiate between basically yes and no. Right. Okay. So let's do the build vocab now using the command we've built for the voice notes, and then run the spaced repetition practice to get a strategy to use these vocabs, like these new words. And I think the best way to do that would be to record a voice note here from the computer itself.
Yeah, of course, we're not going to go to mobile.
Right?
It's too much of
Yeah.
the hassle. But the approach is exactly the same.
Okay.
You do that from the app.
So it shouldn't be live transcription, should be the capture. One thing I'm wondering is if we capture, it's gonna send it to the inbox though.
Ah, okay. You want to send it to the specific super tag, right?
I mean, we can bring it from the inbox and then add the super tag, and that would work fine. It's
No, I mean
just extra.
let's do an app then. I mean, we can quickly go to an app. Do you have an app connected to this account?
I do. So now I'm going to record a message of something that I want to say in Portuguese, in this case, that I do not know how to explain. So let's see. I'm going to start recording. Okay, so I want help to order a piece of steak in a restaurant here in Brazil. I know that Brazil is famous for the barbecues that they want, so I want to know how can I order a steak with rice, beans, and any other famous Brazilian dish that might be useful in this context. Okay, sending this over, and I'm going to quickly rescue this voice note and bring it into our workspace.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is our voice note. I'm going to, again, duplicate this and then move to Tanacast home. So I'm going to open our home, and this is our voice note. I'm going to move this over here so that we are keeping this clean. And now I'm going to add the super tag we've created, which is called the vocab request. And here, if we expand this, we will see the original transcript, the translated phrase, and the extracted vocab. The only thing we're missing, which is of course super important, is to add the command we created into this super tag so that we can use this and build the collab, the vocab. So compact menu, full menu. This is the same process we did before. We copy the command and we paste it inside the AI and commands section of this super tag that we are using for this example. So by clicking this
Yeah,
should, yeah, go ahead.
let me quickly add something because I think oh, something went
Okay.
wrong.
So the translated phrase did not run properly. Let's see
Yeah, let's see.
why. Original transcript. Let's try to run this here. Okay, I already noticed one slight improvement that we can do here.
Yeah.
Generate the entire key phrase that I want to say in Portuguese, and then based on the original transcript, yeah, something like that I want to say based on the original transcript. because it's only getting like the words and not like the entire phrase of what we want to do. And okay, and now let's find out why this didn't run properly. Probably, okay, sorry about that. We need to choose the fields to run and then paste this command. So
because you can
now
run
everything should
because
work.
you can run multiple AI fields. So by default,
Yes.
if you would not select this, it's going to run all of the fields. So you either can leave it empty, or use this fields to run field just to specify which fields you need to run.
Yeah, perfect. And I forgot to add this field, so now it should work fine. And we mentioned that you can remove and add the tag. Alternatively, you can select all of the fields and hit backspace, and you're going to basically wipe them out, and they're going to be reset with the default value. In this case, it's empty. And now let's try again. So first, original transcript. Okay, so it got us our phrase, which is basically, I would like to order steak with rice, beans, and perhaps another Brazilian dish. And it translated that into the correct Portuguese with farofa, which is a specific food we have here in Brazil, which is, I mean, it's now here as a vocab, and we can see that it has no translation, and it's a popular Brazilian side dish made of toasted cassava flour. And it's a specific type of flour we have here. And this was not assigned to any group because we didn't have any group for food, but we could, of course, change each of these vocabs. And let's take a look at all of them in a quick.
Yeah, for now, I think we can just
overview.
can just clean the group part because again, we don't have that, so we just can remove it. Yeah, so we can just put them into the table view. I think even here, right here under this node, right, and just remove this group column altogether.
Yeah, that makes sense. So let's see this as a table, and let's remove these.
Yeah, if you can tap on the group, you can also have this kind of remove all the content there.
Here?
Yeah.
Delete column and values.
Yeah, but I think you won't be able to delete it from the super tag from here.
Yeah.
But you will delete all the values. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Okay, so let's get this back to a list format.
And let's click them. Oh, we want to practice them, right? So let's check that
Yes.
all together. And now run our space repetition.
Mm-hmm. Should we practice any other words as well, since we're here?
No, let's make sure that we got this inputted stuff 100%. Because if we add in other words, we might end up, in the situation where we won't get all of this tasty vocab. Yeah.
The tasty examples, yeah. So just to recall, we're going to run the spaced repetition, and we're going to run this from anywhere. So let's start. And here we have already configured the initial prompt. So this is going to give us 3 random words from the list. And please, here it is. Please try translating these words into Portuguese. Take your time and let me know your answer. So you want to take a go at this, Andrew? I know the answer.
Probably not today.
Okay, so I'm gonna take this one. So
I think you can do it. I believe in you.
Let's try. Number 2 is arroz, and number 3 is, and I'm going to make a purpose mistake on purpose here. I'm gonna skip a letter here, and I'm gonna write feijão instead of feijão, and let's see what it's going to give us. Okay, there's a small correction for beans. The correct word is feijão with the tilde on the A, and yeah, gives us the new explanation. And here you can see it gives us a new direction to explore, right? So like, would you like to try using these words in a sentence or practice further? We could ask for new words, right? So here it's your path to take, right?
Yeah, and I see how it's all coming together, right? We can use the voice to get the new vocab. We can practice the vocab. We can get the new kind of errors and mistakes. We can update the agent. So the whole system has become alive, right? It's working together.
Yeah.
Like all the components are working together, and it's like it's so beautiful. I mean, even like we clearly like cut a lot of corners. We were like really speed running this. Obviously, if we want to build it like for real, we would spend probably like twice as more time, right? Just to make the better design choices, kind of, maybe even outlining the whole ontology just to see like where, like, what do we want to have? But we were having fun. We were just, building it as we go. And even with this approach, we were able to create something so functional, which I'm 100% can relate to and I can use.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that if we would use double the time, it would still be really fast, right? Because this is something that was impossible, let's say 1 year ago, maybe. Like the fact that we can do this and we did this in 2-3 hours. If we were to make a complete agent that's really nice and tailored for language learning, we could take like maybe 4 to 5 hours. And that's already like a product. We can sell that. We can create a course companion, right? Using an AI agent to help students learn a new language. So this is really to show that it's possible to create some really powerful workflows really fast.
Yeah, and the power of it it's in a customization, right? There are plenty of apps where you can learn language, but I want my approach to be embedded into it. And I want my knowledge to be embedded into it. Like the best practices that I learned from watching those videos that we did on a version 2 stage. So yeah, I mean, we're pretty much done with the V5 now, right? So we can check it. Okay, and the version 6. The version 6 involve connecting our agent to the outside world, outside Tana. And actually, it's a little bit of the hustle. So we did it outside this recording because otherwise we will make this video too long. But we want to show you like what we actually came up with. So bear with us. Okay, so we actually almost through. We got last version of the agent, version 6. And it's something that is connecting our inside agent to the outside world, right? For agent to be able to interact with the external information, but also with external agents. So we built something into our workspace. We built it outside the recording because we figure out it's going to make, it took us really some time. So we figure out it's going to take the video, would be too long. So, but don't worry, we're going to show you the result. So it's going to work like this. So this is V6. And essentially, we did a few things here. First of all, we introduce the new super tag, which is practice unit. And practice unit is this something that I, as a student, as the active learner, want to be able to get sort of as the container where I put the vocab I want to practice at this specific moment, right? So here I put everything connected to the restaurant. And essentially what we can do now, we can send this vocabulary to the outside agent. So how it works, here I have the send vocab command. And if we open it, we're going to see the configuration of the agent, which is the Lindy agent. It's essentially Lindy automation. I will share it with you in a minute. But the idea is just like through API, we actually send in the request to Lindy. And we are sending it like the whole context. We're sending the whole node. So this is the configuration. We need to set up URL for the webhook. We need to create webhook in Lindy. We need to create authorization, select some parameters like which type of query, which kind of request we're going to use, and so on and so forth. But ultimately, this is what we get, right? We're gonna send it to Lindy. And now let me show you how the Lindy agent operates. So Lindy is the environment where you can build your own AI agents, connect them to the multiple contexts. You can connect them to your email, to your Slack, to all of your documents, to Tana, of course, through the webhook. So it's essentially kind of AI-infused automation platform, similar to Make, but again, with the bigger focus on AI. So here I have two automations. First is just like taking webhook from Tana and adding it into the Google Doc. So essentially, Lindy received this webhook, and remember, it's going to be several words in Portuguese, in English, and it's going to add them into the simple table, simple Google spreadsheet. That's it. So this is the first automation. And then this one is more tricky. So this is, by the way, super cool. So on the schedule, right? So you can select the schedule that you like. What is going to happen? First of all, the Lindy is going to go and search Perplexity. And it's going to search like what is happening today in the world. Give me non-political news, because we don't want to go into the politics here, obviously, right? We want to practice the language. So as you see in Lindy, you can use essentially prompts for everything. Then Lindy goes into the knowledge base that was created from Tana. And here we're going to use actually the smart model because it's a pretty creative task. Based on the response from the Perplexity, select 3 most relevant words from this table for my daily Portuguese practice, right? So as you see, I want Lindy to actually select words that are relevant for the specific today context, right? And I don't want to like practice like random words, but they still only those words that I sent there, right? And by the way, again, this is super simple. We can do something way more complex. We can send each word to this table, and then we're able even to remove it through Tana. So you can have full control in Tana because you can synchronize essentially like remove the vocab, and through the API you can remove it from the table. So those kind of knowledge bases can be fully synchronized and fully controlled by you. You don't have to worry about this anytime, right? Here again, we're doing something way more simple. So now, after the Lindy selects this, select these three most relevant words, it's going to print them in the chat. So that's easy, right? And it's going to use this. It's going to use this prompt. Give me a short vocabulary lesson based on the results, and connect them to response. That's it. So it's gonna create it, and then it's going to send me an email, which I will receive in a time that is appropriate for me, because I scheduled it early on. And I will get my Portuguese lesson in my mailbox when I want it, and connected to the vocabulary I selected, and connected to the relevant stuff that is going on in the world. How cool is that? It's absolutely crazy.
That is indeed super interesting, and I'm excited for you to show that.
But we're not going to show it now, because now we want to actually show you the full demo of the system that we built, right? We want to give you like the full walkthrough. We were building it for the few hours already, right? And we want to show you like what actually like how the whole system what the whole system looks like. So the last step is going to be essentially the email that we are going to receive, and we will show it to you. And by the way, the email configuration is pretty straightforward. This is my email, and this is the output that is going to it. So now let's go to the full demo. Okay, first of all, I think we're ready to check the last checkbox. We're through the V6. And yeah, let's show the full demo, what we actually came up with. So we want to start actually with the voice part, right? So we actually changed the voice slightly. So now we will show you like what's going to happen. Okay, so we're going to start from me being in airport and actually confused. And I will say like, how should I get a taxi, right? And this is something that I want to learn. So for this, I will create the vocab request node. I'll create just a simple node tagged as a vocab request, like this. And then I will go here into the English transcript. And this is now the voice enable field. So I can just dictate right into it the same way I would do it from my phone. I need to get a taxi. That's it. So now we got this transcribed. And now we can run build vocab. It's going to translate it to the Portuguese. It's going to extract the keywords for us. The taxi, pegar, which means to take, right? And preciso, or how do you?
Yes, preciso.
Preciso.
That was good. That was good.
Preciso. Okay, preciso means I need, which is pretty good. So essentially, now we got all of the vocab related to the to me getting a taxi, right? And again, it's all got into this vocabulary, all the queries that we got in a system, right? Okay, beautiful. So this is part of it. But now I'm on my computer and I was just like, okay, I actually need to practice the whole transportation thing. So what I do, I will go like essentially like practice, right? Or not practice, I will go like with the learn Portuguese command. And this again will open our agent. And we're going to start with, I want to practice simple vocabulary related to commute. That's it. Again, no additional context. Agent remembers everything that we taught it.
Yes. Everything is inside. All the vocabulary, all the common mistakes, all of the best practices.
Okay. So now agent provides me a vocabulary in a pretty structured way, right? Remember, we taught the agent just to provide us with the mnemonic techniques. So now I can say, okay, actually, onibus, right? It's pretty good.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, this pronunciation or the transliteration, it's so good. These are super precise. As a Portuguese speaker, I can attest.
Yeah. Train. Yeah. Perfect. So now I pretty much satisfied with this vocabulary. We got 6 new words, and agent provides us with additional kind of suggestions, like what I can do with it. Remember, now we actually get this command extract vocab. So this is exactly what we're going to do. We want to build this vocabulary. We want to have it. And now it's running. So it's extracting all these 6 words. Let's see.
I'm curious to see if it's going to. It did exactly what we wanted it to do, which is to not extract the taxi because that was already inside the vocab. So that's working fine.
Exactly. That was the plan, right? So beautiful. So now we got everything structured. Remember, in Tana, we want to have everything structured. So now we got the Portuguese, we got the transliteration, we got the English, cultural context, right? And mnemonic. So it's already like super amazing, right? So now I can practice this.
Yes.
And what I can do, I can now actually become like more kind of active student, and I want to build my practice unit, right? So I will go, I will create something like going to Brazil, and then I target
yes,
PU. And now I will just open it like this, and I will go, okay, I actually want to have, bus.
Remember, there are more vocab words in the search that are not in the specific node. So that would be a good idea as well.
I want to remember the taxi, but taxi is pretty much self-explanatory. I definitely want to use like a metro, probably the tram, and maybe it's actually good for me. I think I will stick with those, right? So,
are you more of a car person or a bicycle rider, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean bicycles. Yeah, I'm definitely like, I love bicycles, so I will add them there too. Okay, so now I have this practice unit, and remember we built this command space repetition, so I can just run it now. And what I'm going to do is just like the agent will help me to practice those words.
And yeah, remembering that this is the same agent, but with specific instructions to help us practice these words from English to Portuguese.
Yeah. Okay. Here are 3 random words from your list in English. And it's actually,
spoiler alert.
Yeah, it actually spoiled it, but that's okay. We can actually, I think, adjust it a little bit, right? Just to go here, and yeah, this is the good place for us to do some adjustment. Let's go here to the spaced repetitions. Oh, okay, let's open it right here. So, and we will add instruction, never provide words in Portuguese.
Yeah, like the specific words in the exercise, right?
Yeah. My goal is to remember and practice. Which model do we use? Okay, we use the smart model, we use the agent model, so that's okay. Okay, let's do it one more time. Again, spaced repetition.
Let's see how well the initial prompt can like override the system prompt, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. So now
looks good.
Yeah, now those like bus and it's a mnemonic English transliteration. Think of bus, big urban shuttle, remind you of large vehicle. Yeah, it's pretty good, right? I already like remember this is omnibus. Yeah. So bicycle, B2 cycle wheels, emphasizing the 2 wheels circle motion. Yeah, it's bicyclette, right?
Yeah, you're missing one letter.
Bicicleta.
That's good.
Yeah. So again, it's already pretty good. We can tweak this prompt to make it like even better, but it's already like amazing, right? So now I have those words, I practice them, but it's of course that's not all, right? Because now we will go here again to the one that we created, and by the way, this is important. Remember that the taxi that we get from the audio input and those we got from the agent input. So essentially now we're using the full power of Tana, right? We're using like something that I inputted from the voice, something that I get from the book, something, and everything is connected and everything is the operational context for the agent.
It's this central hub where we can collect and connect all of these different sources and of course use AI agents with this knowledge. Yeah.
And now we will do the last part. So essentially now we will send this vocabulary to the Lindy, and after this happened, at some point we're gonna tweak it, of course, because we want to adjust the timing just to do it right now. But first of all, let's send it. Okay, looks like it happened. So now it's in the Lindy database at the moment. Those all of those 5 words. Let's see how it looks. And this is what we got. This result is actually very good. The model was able to connect very limited vocabulary to the current news cycle. It did it quite creatively. It's memorable. So now I can definitely connect the SpaceX launch to the omnibus or some kind of quarrel in the sports world with the taxi, with the metro, where there are some also intense things happen. So it's definitely memorable. It's what we were aiming at. We also had to update our Lindy quite a bit, adding those intermediary stages for more precise news extraction and vocabulary extraction. Again, we were in a rush. I think we can definitely optimize this Lindy to take less tokens. But again, this result we were able to achieve, it's really, really good. This agent is useful. I can definitely imagine using it myself. So this is what we built. Remember, we started from scratch, from the empty Tana workspace, and we built a full system that will help us to learn the language, that connects audio to AI agents, to outside agents, that allow us to learn languages in a context of the specific use case, or even the specific kind of daily news. And if you want to learn to build things like this, the advanced agents, automations, check out our course in the description. It's the practical, very, very practical course that we will teach you how to build agents inside and outside of Tana and connect them to the multiple contexts.
Yes, and it's worth noting that we're also going to cover the more basic features in Tana, such as the commands, how to build these commands. And of course, we can build from there and then go into agents and then integrations with external tools, as Andrew mentioned. We hope you enjoyed this video, and we're really looking forward for you to join us in this course. It's going to be a dense, highly valuable course and experience for you to learn how to use AI inside Tana. See you there.